sorry I couldn't hide. So sorry I couldn't hide. I'm sorry a message on my phone said you were feeling lost and alone. I know you're hurting inside, but I can't be your therapist tonight. I want more than just to talk. I want to feel something real.
Welcome back to Turning Pages with Jazz. If you are new here, my name is Jasmine. If you're returning, thank you for coming back and chilling with your girl. It is currently, I think, maybe 6 a.m. Your girl is just getting up, just getting my day started. I know I have not picked up the camera at all the entire month of June. June is such a hectic month for me. Like, to kick it off, my birthday is at the very beginning of the month. Then my kid's birthday a couple weeks later. Work has been super busy as hell. So, baby, picking up the camera was the last thing that I wanted to do. But I was like, we're going to start July. All right. So, I'm like, let me come pick it up and chit chat with you guys to catch up on all things. And now I'm just getting up, getting ready. It's Friday. I actually have some work to do today, so just getting my day started. This is what I'm using for my toner. But yeah, things has been crazy, guys. But I have still been reading. Actually, last month, I think I read a total of either 25 or 26 books. I was mainly able to read quite a few books due to I did this book reading challenge. My girl Asha on TikTok was doing Goons in June, a little reading challenge that was on a bingo card, and your girl here hit blackout. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. It gave me a chance to read a lot of authors that I would not normally pick up. I would say though my favorite read from the challenge was Problematic by Lady Nisha. I gave it 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed that. And you know, if you've read anything by Lady Nisha, she's going to have you cracking up, and the banter is going to eat every single time. That book was basically dealing with a lot. You dealt with toxic love versus true love, family drama, betrayal, lies, loyalty, found family, and dealing with past trauma and grief. So it does end on a slight cliffhanger. There's supposed to be a part 2, but it's not one of those cliffhangers that's going to leave you pissed off. If you know, you know. Going into the month of July, I'm reading a part of a series. I believe the book is called Your by Keisha Erwin. It's book 4, I believe, in the series of dealing with Cam and Gray. Y'all, this is such a toxic mess. This is urban fiction. This is a classic. I think the book was released back in, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say like 2012, or it may have been later, maybe like 2019 or so. But so far so good. A lot of drama all through this as well. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Water for my moisturizer. But I have been enjoying it. But today, I don't have a lot of things on the agenda. Okay, I have to do some work this morning. And then I need to run to the grocery store to grab a couple of things. We don't really do anything for the 4th of July, so I don't really have anything going on this weekend for that. But I do need to make a couple of groceries, so I'm praying that the stores are not busy, which I know they're going to be because it's the Friday before, but I just need to grab a few items. Guys, happy Sunday. It is currently, I think, yeah, a little bit old after 6 a.m. I just finished doing my skincare routine, so I'm like, let me hop on and catch you guys up on what I've been reading while I do my makeup and get ready for church. First, I'm going to go in with my Juvia's Place Radiance Foundation. This is in the color Aqua. So I think when I last talked to you guys was on Friday. I had wrapped up the Keisha Irvin, Cam, and Gray series. Then it was a total of 5 books. I really enjoyed the entire series. Say my favorite book was probably either book 2 or 3, which was Beast Mode and Sicko Mode. Those were probably my favorite of the entire series. But that was urban fiction, baby, a hood classic. If nothing else, the series was entertaining. Overall, I would give the series 3.5 stars. That I then started reading book 2 of the Maniac series by Nick Mills. I think I told you guys in my last video, it was like book 1 to me was very overhyped. It was called Cuff by a Maniac. To me, it was very overhyped and it was just okay. But it was a series that came highly recommended. So I'm like, okay, let me continue on and see what the rest of the series is giving. So I started book 2 and finished book 2 on Friday, called Love by a Certified Maniac. And to me, it was just okay. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It was just okay to me. Like, I think I gave it 2.75 stars, if I'm not mistaken, kind of same as book 1. It was just okay. If you're just looking for a palette cleanser, you know, just something to read in between time while you're waiting on something else, I would say, then I would say tap into it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be something that I would go basically back to or to recommend for others to read. It just wasn't, I think I'm finding that it's just not my cup of tea. And maybe it could be the author's writing style that I don't like, but I wasn't too much of a fan on the book. I think another thing I didn't like were the characters. Like, the FMC kind of worked my nerves the entire book. And I just feel like the way she was treating the MMC, baby, for me to have to beg him to have to beg for over a year to have dealings with you, it's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then the MMC, like I said, I love a man that big, but I feel like, baby, after a while, I would have been going on about my business. I wouldn't have had time to play around with her. And so it was just, like I said, it was just okay. So that was what I finished on Friday. So then yesterday, I'm gonna go in next with my Charlotte Tilbury Contour one. I believe this is in the shade 10. This is in the shade 10. Yesterday, I started reading Simple Serenity. I believe is the name of the book. This was a new to me author. I had never read anything by this author. I believe her name was Mary Kim, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all, when you look at this book cover, I'm thinking I'm about to get a little cutesy read. You know, I was like, okay, this is about to be a cute little read, just something to hold me over, since I just now been in the hood with urban fiction for, you know, most of the month. But baby, absolutely not. This was forced proximity, arranged marriage, enemies to lovers, but mainly on the MMC's part, and the spice. And I'm not gonna lie, the author, she gives you a trigger beforehand. She lets you know, hey baby, the spice is spicy, so if that's not your thing, don't come over here, type deal. But I was not expecting it. I was not expecting it. But I really enjoyed that. I think I gave it a 3.75 stars. The way that the book went, I can definitely see it segue and leading to another story within this universe. So I really enjoyed that, and I definitely plan on tapping into more of that author's catalog. That was, like I said, that was my first read by her, but I definitely plan on tapping into more and seeing what else she has to offer, because that was a good little read. So right now, after that, that was basically my whole Saturday. I read that in one sitting. And so I need to figure out what I'm going to read next. I don't want to read anything too long, too thick, like nothing more than like 400 pages, because I do have an author that's going to be releasing a book, I believe, on Tuesday. So I'm like, I don't want to get into anything too heavy. Next, blush. I'm going in with this Rare Beauty. I believe this is in the color Joy. I have a couple of options, but I'm not sure. And actually, I have two authors that are releasing books this coming up week that I want to read. The first one is Always Yours by N.W. Brown. I believe that is book 3 in that series, and I'm really looking forward to it. Every book I've read by her, I've enjoyed. And so, and this is like her, I think these books have been her first, her debut basically. And I've enjoyed every one. I don't think I've read any book I've read by her lower than 4 stars. If that, like, that's how much I've enjoyed each one of those. And then the other author is A. Denise, who was a new to me author as well. She's releasing the final book in the State of Betrayal series, Bluer Line. So can't wait to tap in. Let's see. For concealer, I'm going in with the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. This is in the shade Butterscotch. Spray it up with this Make It Last by Milani. Let that get in there. Yesterday was the 4th. We don't really celebrate the 4th of July, so we didn't do anything. I mainly read all day. My husband had to work, so we had nothing going on, nothing planned. But I did enjoy the time off. I got to get a lot of reading in, so that was good for your girl. That is the final look. I will check back in with you guys once I get my clothes on and do something with this hair. I need to go get the kiddos up and then we'll holler back. Before I head out, basically I have on my little Graphic Grateful t-shirt. On my pants is from Target, most likely, and probably same as my little wedge heels that I got on. Got these probably a couple of years ago. Accessories I just have on my Apple Watch. I just put on my gold band with it. Earrings, both my hoops and my diamond studs are from K Jewelry. My husband got those for me a year ago. And for my hair, I really just did a little quick half up, half down. Picked it up in the back with my little hair clip, and there you have it. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Probably pick up you guys either in the car. If not, it'll be later on today. Okay, y'all, so I just started reading Love in the Outfield by Kaylin. This is a new to me author,
And so far, I'm only about 6% into mine, and I'm enjoying it. I don't think I've ever read a baseball romance, which is what this seems to be. Also, I don't think I ever read a book that had the prologue, 4 different prologues, and told from, I guess, 2 different perspectives, from one from the male MC and the other one from the female. But I kind of like that. If you guys don't know, this book actually had a lot of controversy maybe about 2 years ago. And then it got re-bought back up a couple of months ago, I think, on Threads, and dealing with possible plagiarism. I'm one of those people that with any book, if you're reading any book, and whether it's recommended or not recommended to you, read for yourself and come up with your own conclusions. Even when I tell people what I rate books, or if I did have a book, that should not stop you from going read that book. Like, everybody has difference of opinions. Now, one thing I can say, when it comes to accusing of plagiarism, I think that is very, very strong. It can be very, very harmful unless you have accurate proof. So for me, I'm going into this book with an open mind. The book that it was accused of being plagiarized against, I did read that story, so I'll see if I feel like it is. So far, not one, there are 2 different type of subject matters. One was basketball romance, this is baseball, so I don't know. But I'm enjoying it so far, so through. So I'm going to continue reading this. And this is probably what I'll read the rest of the day and going into tomorrow, because I believe it's about a little over 400 and some pages, or like 450 pages. So it'll probably take me a couple of days to read before getting into the next book. Happy Monday, you guys. So on yesterday, I had let you guys know that I had started Love in the Outfield by Arthur Kalin. I actually read that in one sitting. I finished it on yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.75 stars. It is a slow burn, and I think I told you guys on yesterday, it is a sports romance. This is actually my first, I guess, baseball romance that I've actually read. So what I can say is the MMC basically is a 25-year-old baseball player who has been with his wife since they were 16 years old. They've been married for 3 years. And basically, out the blue, she basically files for a divorce without letting him know. He finds out via social media. And on that same day, he has a game. He goes to the game, plays, and end up passing out and having a medical emergency that basically puts him in the hospital. Our FMC, I believe it's around the same age. She is basically a cook. She is going to meet up with her best friend, and she ends up finding out that her best friend is pregnant by her boyfriend. And that turns into disaster. My girl sets it off and ends up in jail. Once she basically gets out of jail, she runs into her college roommate, who actually is I believe, either agent or manager or something like that to the MMC. And she's like, hey, he had a health scare. We got to make sure he's eating right. So we're looking for a chef. And she gets hired on as his in-house chef. And that's basically where the story begins. You're basically getting love after heartbreak, kind of, they kind of build a relationship as friends, and then that transforms into something more. Like I said, I really did enjoy it. For me, I gave it 3.75 stars, only because it is slow pace, and for me, sometimes I was ready for things to pick up. But if you're a person that enjoys slow burn, you'll probably give it 4 stars or higher. So I would say definitely tap into that if you have not read it. So next, I'm not sure what I want to read. I'm kind of torn between the two. I do plan on going walking later today, once the sun has kind of gone down, because it is currently blasting. Normally when I walk is when I like to listen to an audio book. And right now I am kind of undecided. There are 2 audio books that I'm kind of trying to decide between. One is Immortal Dark by Tigers Grandma. I may be saying her name wrong. I have not read anything by this author. I believe this is a fantasy book. Reading that one, or my best friend actually recommended Dragon Blind by Iman Christians. Again, I haven't read anything by her as well. And I believe that is a fantasy book as well. So I'm thinking about either reading one or the other. Whichever one I don't read, I'll eventually read the next book at a later date. But that's probably my plan, is to read those. I believe both are series. I think Dragon Blind, the first book, I think both books are. I think the second book just recently came out. I don't know if it's just 2 total books. And I know for Immortal Dark, I think it's a total of 3 books, I believe. The first book is out in the second book, but I don't think the third book is set to be released until next year sometime. So that's my plan, is to probably listen to one of those on audio and start that up. As far as my Kindle, someone had recommended, and I believe it was my girl Erica on TikTok, or it may have just been, I just been seeing it a lot on TikTok. And the book is, I don't think I've read this one at all either. It's a new to me author. It's called Can I Join? It's a Why Choose romance. I believe it's a MMF romance by Kyrus Ashley. So I may start reading that later tonight on my Kindle, and that'll probably be my digital read. So that is the plan for today. I'm about to actually hop online, do a little bit of work, and then I'll check back in with you guys later. All right, y'all, I just came from the mailbox and we got some book mail in. It is from Lattes and Love Letters. If you don't know, they are Black-owned mobile bookstore here in down South Louisiana. And I believe this is their, I want to say it's their 1 year anniversary being open, and I had purchased their founders box, so let's get into it. Dear reader, every good story begins with the first chapter, a quiet introduction, a turning page, a moment where something ordinary becomes something more. This box marks the beginning of Love Letter Society, but more importantly, it marks the beginning of community built around stories, comfort, and the simple joy of getting lost in a book. Inside, you'll find a new, carefully chosen treasure. Some are meant to be enjoyed today, others I hope will stay for you long after the final page has turned. My wish for you is simple. May your coffee stay warm. May your favorite characters linger long after the story ends. And may you always find yourself in the pages of a book that feels written just for you. Thank you for becoming a founding member of Love Letter Society. The next chapter begins with you. With love, Kelly. And she's the founder. That was cute. That was nice. So first is this coffee mug. Let me see if you guys can see it. It says Love Letter Society by Lattes and Love Letters. I have a pocket socket. I actually needed a new one of these, so thank you. That will come in handy for my Kindle. Then we have some coffee. This flavor is English toffee. After that, we have this pen that says Javert. That is so cute. I'm happy I got this. I can add on to my pen collection. I think I currently have 3 that I have on my denim jacket. And then last, oh, this is such a cute little tote. This is a cute little tote bag. I love a good tote bag. Like anytime I go somewhere, I always bring a little bag. Even when I don't have a physical book and I have my Kindle, I have a bag with me. So that is cute. And then look, I almost don't want to unwrap it because look how neat it is. Little reading list bookmark. And then finally, it's the book. Look how nice that is. And we have the edges. All right, this book is called Bewitched by the Voodoo King by A. Longer Gain, I believe is the name. I may have butchered that up. And if you have not, please check out Lattes and Love Letters. I plan on definitely going by when she's close in my area to check her out in person. And this is nice. I can't wait to tap into this. It seems like a fantasy read. As y'all know, fantasy is like probably one of my least read type of genres. So I can't wait to see what this is about. Y'all, I just started my walk, and when I tell you it is hot, I believe it's probably currently 90 degrees out here. I do have my fan on, so baby, I'm about to get that cranking up as soon as the sweat start beating. But I've decided that I'm going to listen to, what is it called? Dragon Blind, I believe, by Mon Christians. That's going to be my audio book for when I do my walks this week. So I'm about to start that, and I'm going to see how it goes. Hopefully I can get me a good 2 to 3 miles in before I'm probably ready to pass out, and we will see. So y'all know when I last talked to y'all, I had let you know that I was gonna read Can I Join You, which was a wide truth romance by a new author that I had not read before. So I finished that on yesterday, and if I have to be honest, it was not my cup of tea. I have no issue with why I choose romances. I've read a few of them and I've enjoyed them. No issues with them whatsoever. So none of the sex scenes or swords crossing, I didn't have an issue with that. My issue was with the plot. When I say the plot was all over the place, it was all over the place. I think I probably should have DNF'd it, but I got through the book because it was only, I think, right at 200 pages. And I think I ended up giving it a 2.25 stars, but that is one that needed to be flushed out a lot more. It really did. The story had potential, but it needed to be flushed out some more. After that, I think I was thinking, I know when I went on my walk, I was going to start a new audiobook. I did start that. I'm only about 18% in. This is a fantasy book. Basically, you have Princess Asha, who most people have not seen basically since her mom passed 10 years ago, except for a select few. She's kind of been hidden. Basically, she had a injury where she ended up losing her eyesight, insisting, and her father kind of like cast her aside and put her in the dragon pits, and she's kind of been there ever since, being kind of like the dragon keeper in the sense. So basically now her father is trying to marry her off to kind of strengthen his allies, and of course she wants none of that. One of her brothers like, nah, I'm not letting that happen. I failed you once. I got to get you out of here. That type of thing. And then that's when we end up meeting, I think his name is Adriel. He's from like a rival kingdom. He kind of came there on a separate mission, basically trying to get his brother to marry her, get the approval so they can strengthen their kingdom by becoming allies. But upon him arriving there, he ends up seeing her like kind of communicating with the dragon, and is like, what's going on, and notices that she has dragon eggs, which I guess is a rarity, and most people did not know that they even still could produce. And it's like, if you can get you a dragon on your team, which is what her father has, basically it's all the dragons, then it's like you don't really need the assistance of anybody else, because that'll kind of solidify your kingdom and make your army strong. So he kind of steps in, and basically what last happens is her brother kind of gets her out of town, and then all hell kind of break loose at the event that was happening in her honor, where she was supposed to be getting married off to someone. So that's kind of where I last left off at. Like I said, so far I am enjoying it. I really like the narrator. So far so good. So basically I'm gonna continue listening to that, like you said, on my walks. That's really the only time I listen to it. So I maybe listen maybe an hour of that a day. Today it had a new release that came out by my girl N.W. Brown. Like I said, this a new to me author that I got introduced to this year. So she dropped book 3 in the Way Legacy series called Always Yours. This is a slow burn romance. I believe it's a friends to lovers. It's going to focus on the eldest brother Julian, his story, and I believe the FMC is going to be Alyssa, who is the sister of Rashad from book 2. It's from what I can tell. I'm only about 10% in, so I haven't even really got into the weeds of it. This is a contemporary romance, but I have loved every single book in this series thus far. I haven't rated any of those books 4.25 stars or higher for every book I've read. So I have really high hopes and can't wait to really get into this one. So this is probably what I'm going to read tonight until I go to bed, and then after that I'll probably continue that on tomorrow. I don't know if I'll really get into anything new before the weekend gets here. It depends on how long it takes me to get through this one. I think this book is about maybe 460 or so pages. So depending on how far I get tonight, I may be able to finish it tomorrow. If not, I'll wrap it up on Friday. So that is your girl plan for the night, and that's what I'm about to get into. Y'all, I haven't even gotten too far in this, but I've already highlighted like 3 things from the prologue just alone. One of the quotes I was in the prologue, and it's coming from Alyssa on the FMC point of view, and it basically says, he got to be a man who worked, and I got to be the reason our whole world stays standing. Somehow along the way, we called that equal. And it was basically in reference to her husband and their marriage. When it first started off, it kind of goes back in the past. Like she had been married for I think either about 5 years, and just being seen, just trying to be seen in your marriage and you're not. And then another one was, loneliness has a stickler texture when it's felt in the warmth of lying next to another person. You can survive regular loneliness, but to be lonely beside someone who is supposed to love and see you, that has teeth. And then the final one that I really enjoyed, towards the end of the prologue, she was basically just discussing how her husband had, up to the point, done really anything that, where people claim like, oh, if he was abusive or if he was cheating, those are grounds for why you should leave your husband. So she felt like, okay, I should just stay because he hasn't really done anything, as they would say, to give me a good enough reason to end my marriage. But then it says, this was the life I've chosen. I should simply expect less and want less and be less, and that would make the crumbs I was given feel like enough. And before that, then it says, but then I found out about the women. And it's like, man, like I said, this book, as soon as I read that prologue, I was like, oh, I'm in for a good one. I'm in for a good time because it's already hidden like it needs to be. So yeah, I'm definitely about to keep this. I'm right now I'm on, I believe, chapter 4. I'm just at the beginning of chapter 4. So I'm about to get into this, and I will talk to you guys later. Happy Thursday, you guys. I know it's probably been a couple days since I last hopped on here and chatted with you guys, kind of caught you up on my reading. It is currently, I think, maybe just, a little about 15 minutes till 4. I'm just getting off from work. So I was like, let me hop on and catch you guys up, baby, because I have news. Your girl got her first 5-star read of the year. Yes, ma'am. Upon reading the prologue, that after I had already highlighted like 3 things, and I rarely highlight in my Kindles. I may bookmark a page or so, but I rarely, if ever, highlight. I had already highlighted 3 little quotes that I was eating up that I say, you know what, this probably about to be a 5-star, and it was. But yeah, so I finished that last night. Y'all, I was trying to prolong it for the longest. I did not want to finish it because it was that good to me. That's how good the book was. It is a friends to lovers contemporary romance, and that's like one of my favorite tropes because it reminds me of me and my husband. So I was eating, when I say eating it up. And it was about, I think, around like 450 pages, maybe a little bit over that. And I could have had some more. And the author, she did that. She's becoming one of my favorites. This is actually her first series, first novel. Like I said, she debuted it this year. All three books have been really good. This one, it was just my favorite. Like this one, and then probably Always Running, which was the first book. I think I gave that one 4.5 stars at the time. So that'll be my second, followed by the second book, which is a second chance romance. And that's just because I'm not a lover of second chance. Ain't no spinning the block around here. But even that book, I think I gave 4.25 stars. So you won't be disappointed. So definitely check out that series. It's the Wade Legacy series. It's a total of 5 books. The first 3 books are out now. The last 2, I think, drop in October of this year. So it's going to be completed pretty quickly. So, but yeah, I ate that up. It just dealt with basically healing after grief, healing after betrayal. So many topics it touched on, and especially from the woman's perspective. Like, I feel like growing up, a lot of Black women are taught that you got to be strong, independent. You don't need to depend on no one for anything. And yes, in some cases that can be true and that can help you, but it's like, it's okay to want to land soft, to not have that hard exterior all the time, and to be someone's soft place. Like, it's okay for that. And with the MMC character, his was basically, he was the eldest of all the kids. He's the one that took care of them, was the provider, the one that was patient with them, that basically raised his sibling because his parents were no longer there. And it's like, well, while you're busy carrying everything and being an anchor for everyone else, who's going to be that anchor for you? Who can you lay your troubles down on? And it's just chef kiss. She is becoming, like I said, one of my authors. So definitely check that out. Today, my girl A. Denise actually dropped the final book in the State of Betrayal series. If y'all know, that was a new to me author as well that I got into. And I have loved that series. I loved it so much that I ordered physicals from her of the first 2. And, I don't even order physical books. I'm a Kindle girly. But if I love the author, or if I love that book/series, I got to have that physical on my shelf, and that's one of them. So I'm probably going to start that tonight, and that'll probably carry me into the weekend because I believe it's 600 pages. It is a thickie, and I'm the type of person, I love a thick book. So I'll probably start on that, and that'll probably take me into the weekend. But I just wanted to hop on, kind of catch you guys up. So really for the week, I think the only thing that I'm still reading that I haven't completed that I've discussed with you guys in the blog is Dragon Blind, and I haven't picked that back up because I just haven't went on the walk, any walks the last couple of days due to the weather. So I'm still only about, I think, 20% in. Is when we last left off when I talked about it. So I'll probably continue listening to that one. It normally takes me a while to listen to audiobooks because, like I said, I only listen to them when I go on walks. So that may be an hour here and there. So I take my time with them, and I'm fine with that. But I'll definitely check back with y'all. I'm going to close the vlog out here. I hope you guys have a great night, have a great weekend, and talk to you guys later. Bye.